I do think that increase of the use of computational tools in the universities are going to better prepare the students.
Welcome to the Drive for Innovation. We're at Mathworks in Natick, Massachusetts, and with me this morning is Tom Gaudette, who is Principal Academic Evangelist for the company, and Naomi Price, who is an editor not only on the Drive for Innovation, but EE Life and Innovation Generation. And we're going to talk about what you guys are doing vis-a-vis the academic community, what kinds of skill sets you're seeing coming out of the schools, what kinds of innovative programs you're doing. But first, that's a kind of a lofty title, so tell us what that actually means.
What that actually means, thank you. So, Principal Academic Evangelist, really, in the US you'll see a lot more people getting a title of an evangelist. And the main goal of that role is to work with the customers and help the customers use the product. And so my role here at the Mathworks is I run a team of engineers who work with professors in academia to help them really innovate and work with their courses to help the students really use products that are industrial grade and get access to those products and really build up their skill set across their 4 years of college to get using those products so that when they graduate they have kind of the tools necessary for industry.
So mostly in college, but can you reach out to secondary schools as well to start priming the pump there?
Absolutely. So we also support the Best Robotics and we support First Robotics. And in those areas, specifically around Best Robotics, we work with a lot of the managers or the mentors of the different teams and trying to help them understand how to use the tools to program the robotics. And then the students get access to those tools, get used to those tools, so that when they enter college, they've actually already seen the tools prior to entering the universities.
So there's a lot of gnashing of teeth, wailing. You know, we're terrible at math. We're terrible at this, that, and the other thing. We don't have enough kids going into engineering programs. We don't have enough women going into engineering programs. What's your sense? Is there any truth to that? Is it a problem?
Well, I think it's always really great to get more engineers, right? I'm an engineer and I really believe we should have more engineers. So, the First Robotics and the Best Robotics and those types of programs I do think are doing a great job of really motivating students and getting students to really understand what it is to be an engineer or to be in any of the STEM areas. For example, people used to say, the guidance counselor would say at the high school level, oh, you're really good in math, you must want to go become an engineer, right? And that wasn't always a great translation. But when the students are able to actually go build a robot, go build something, or go do the activities, they really get energized and excited about, oh, this is something that I'd want to do. And they really are helping, prime the pump and getting the students into the right programs.
Are there programs that you see opening up that kids might be interested in, that they might not think of for their careers?
I do. The one area that I see more diverse students coming into is actually in the power engineering, right? So a lot of the programs used to be power engineering. Not a lot of students were going into those programs, maybe 15, 20 years ago. But as the universities are kind of renaming those departments to be energy focused, you get a lot more students being excited about the idea of working on an energy problem and then solving the energy crisis or the different going into those different areas, and they normally get more of a diverse population, I see, and I think that's really a great thing.
Interesting.
We were talking before we fired the lights up and the camera up about these studies that you see from time to time, these stories that you see that 25 years ago, you couldn't have predicted the jobs that are driving the
Right.
economy today.
Right.
You know, not necessarily software engineering, but you know, nobody had ever heard of Facebook, Google, so on and so forth.
Right.
Do you get the sense that academia is better prepared, more flexible to sort of anticipate that today with integrated curriculum, any other types of programs that you're seeing?
So I do think the integrated curriculum helps with those aspects. So if you think back 20 so years ago and you were in high school, you went to your math class and you did it out by hand. And the idea you wouldn't be able to show up with a calculator in your hand, right? Today, I know my kids are required to have a calculator to go off and do that class. If you look at the universities and what they're doing and the integrated curriculum, you see that they're taking products like Mathworks products, taking MATLAB, integrating it into the 4 years. And so the students are using the tools not just for one class, but for multiple classes. And that use of the tools is really getting so that when they graduate, it's a tool that they can pull out and solve any other problem, right? Versus just knowing the theory of one problem, or just knowing the computational tools are just for, say, solving a DSP problem. They'll actually be useful for solving any type of problem because they've used it in multiple classes. And I do think that increase of the use of computational tools in the universities are going to better prepare the students for whatever the jobs of tomorrow will be.
What Mathworks tools are students using? I mean, if they see that a tool is required for their course, was that something that Mathworks might have developed?
So we have a student version that has a number of products on it, and the idea is they would be able to purchase that product, say as a freshman, use it maybe in a basic programming class or use it in a project-based learning class, but that same product would be useful in all the way through their whole university career, all the way up to where they want to do their capstone project and maybe solve the problems in there.
So it grows with them.
So it grows with them. And it's actually the same product we ship to the professionals. It's not really limited in very much ways. And so the students really are using what they would use when they get out in the industry.
It'll look and feel the same.
It'll look exactly the same. It'll feel exactly the same. And they may be actually surprised at the range of tools that were available as a student when they go out to industry and go, oh, those were separate? Because we do offer, there are 8 products that go with the student version.
Great.
So you're an engineer. What inspired you to be an engineer? That's the first of a 2-part question.
Oh, that's a great question. So I guess what inspired me to be an engineer? My first computer was a Texas Instruments computer, and I learned how to program that. And I played with it and got really good at it. And then I went into high school, and it was really probably one teacher at that high school who said, "You're really good at programming, but what about this electronics stuff?" And he really inspired me to learn electronics, and then I went into electrical engineering. And so it was probably that one teacher who said, you know, you're good at programming, but there's this other stuff too, that inspired me to be an engineer.
So the second part is you have an opportunity to talk to our audience at Innovation Generation, and there's kids out there that are trying to figure out what their career is going to be, what their high school, what their college path is going to be. What's your advice to them to get them to funnel their energies into engineering?
So my advice is to look at what you're really passionate about and think about those things. And if you find you're really passionate about computers, you're really passionate about your cell phone or your texting, think about what you could do to make the next generation of, you know, there wasn't texting when I was born. What's going to be when you're an engineer, and what could you create that would change the world?
Tom Gaudette, Principal Academic Evangelist with Mathworks. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.